practice day is, there's two ways you can put this. There's a practice day and there's testing days. Practice is where you really need to cut some laps and you're figuring out what you need to do in the car yourself. But testing days is where you're, which is what we had here just recently, is where you're changing bars or changing shocks, or just trying different engines or whatever, like the different combinations on just different setups and different heights of the car, and seeing what you come up with.
Firstly, what's your name?
Corey Day. This is my 5th year racing, but probably the first 3 or 4 months racing sprint cars. Track's fun. It's just super smooth, and it's got long shady racing track corners. That's what I prefer. Sprint car is a lot different than the micro in many ways. The sprint car is bigger tires and more suspension travel, so it moves around a lot more for sure. The micro is just super darty, so you turn and it immediately goes there. This is kind of like laid back and it feels lazy, so that's one of the main differences.
Giovanni Scelzi. I'm 19 years old and I race sprint cars. I started racing junior sprints about 5 years old here locally at Visalia and Lemoore, so I've been racing for a long time. Where do you start? I think, I've known Peter for a while. My brother's good friends with him, and I think that everyone's wanted him to take over a racetrack or take over a series for a long time now, and he finally got the chance to do it here with King Speedway. And in about a year's time, I guess, since he got it, it's pretty incredible the work he's done to it, and just the effort he's put into it. It's amazing. This is the nicest I've ever seen this place. Like I said, how much effort he puts into it, just how much cleaner it is. The racing surface is amazing. Haven't got to race here a whole lot. I've raced here one time since the track's been changed, and it's how I remember it when I was growing up. So he's done an amazing job. His whole family has, and it's cool to see a local racetrack like this really thriving.
Dominic Scelzi from Fresno, California. Been racing for 9 years. Since Peter took Hanford over, the biggest things for me have not necessarily only been the racetrack, but the facility. How clean, how professionally run it is, how organized everything is. But the racetrack, moving the berms back out to where you sort of take away the element of the surprise slider, which I think kind of became an issue here with being as wide as the racetrack was. So now you have a racetrack that is wide, but it's the correct dimensions. So you can run the top, you can run the bottom, you can run the middle. The racetrack's been extremely smooth. It's been really, really good with being slick and wide and racy. And when you're sliding a guy, there's room to slide a guy, but there's no bonsai slide jobs because there's enough room to race people clean, but you also can't just attack a corner and pray to the guy upstairs that you're going to clear him. So to me, the dimensions of the racetrack are perfect. The surface, he's worked really hard on it, and I think it's gotten better every single race last year. I'm really excited to see what he can do here in 2021 with a regular schedule. And to be honest, this is my favorite place to race anywhere.
Gary Scelzi. I'm a 4-time NHRA Top Fuel and Funny Car champion. I started in 1976 when I was 16 in the sand rags. I drove my brother's rear engine carbureted small block Chevy dragster. Well, being a champion rolls over in all different aspects of racing, but me learning the dirt stuff, I'm pretty much out in the dark. I never really learned a lot about it. I know when the car's tight, I know when it's loose, but the kids have always been involved. When they got old enough in their teens, they started working on the cars themselves, doing their own setups, and I just kind of took a step back. I'm kind of just a finance guy that has to pay the bills.